Hello and welcome. I'm a man called Jay, and I want to tell you a story of brave men and women who fought and resisted colonialism in Africa. You might have heard stories from West Africa, North Africa, from the Horn of Africa, Thousand Africa, but probably you have not heard stories from East Africa. Now, the focus is on East Africa. To be specific, Uganda. Let me take you to Western Uganda. In Western Uganda, there was a kingdom called Bunyoro Kitara, and it was ruled by a man called, or by a king called Kabalega or Mukama. Or Mukama means king. And also, Kabalega is known as Entale ya Bunyoro, the lion of Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom. And yes, he was. So, why do we call him Entale ya Bunyoro? Because the man was brave, he was fearless, and he was a military genius. Yes, we will come to that later. Now, Bunyoro Kitara was a very rich country. It traded in fish, it traded in salt, it traded in ivory, and it traded in iron. Yes. So you can see Bunyoro was rich, and it was ruled by Omukama Kabalega or King Kabalega Entale Bunyoro. Our history has been distorted because the person who writes the history is always the victor. Bear that in mind. Let me go back to Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom. Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom in 1800s, it had a population of 2.5 million people. Now we will come to the end of the story. We are going to see whether that 2.5 million people remains or increased or decreased. We will come back to that later. Now you see, the British or the English people as we know them, they are very, very, very arrogant. And that arrogancy caused a lot of misery and a lot of suffering and a lot of wars. This is how people might see it. The British come into Africa, they actually believe they can come in and find these people who are savages, people who have got no hope, who have got basically nothing, no future at all. But they made a mistake. When they came, they actually believed that they can come and bulldoze everybody, of which they did at some point with their big guns. But the Africans did not go down without a fight. Now, King Kabalega or King Kabalega is the king who never entertained nonsense, who never entertained BS. I want to keep my language very sweet here. I know I can use a colorful language to describe what King Kabalega was. Now, our history is very complicated. When the British came in, they actually believed that in Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom, they will find famine, they will find people disorganized, they will find basically people who has got no future at all. That's another mistake that they made. When they came in, Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom was organized. There was no famine. Uh, People did not die of hunger. They had an army. So Now, the British come in and they start ordering Omukama Kabalega. Now, Kabalega, he had a motto. His motto was conquer or die. Instead of just surrendering and bowing to somebody else in his own country, he said he would rather die. And actually, he fought. And by the time he died, he didn't surrender to no one. So, anyway, how did it go then? So, the British gave orders to Kabalega. They asked him to kill the elephants and give the ivories to the queen here in England and give salt to Buganda. So Kabalega, he could not understand why he should do that and on what terms. But of course, with the arrogancy of the British, they told him that if you do not do what we are telling you to do, there will be war. Kabalega said, what? Really? You come into my country and you want to give me orders? I will choose war and I will fight you. So the man he fought was Samuel Baker and Emin Pasha. Samuel Baker and Emin Pasha. They could not believe that Kabalega chose to fight instead of surrendering to whatever they were saying. So Emin Pasha and Samuel Baker, they organized the colonial armies from India, from Egypt, and wherever they could get the colonial army to come and fight Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom. At the same time, King Kabalega assembled his army, the army called Abarusura, with spears and shields. Men, they fought for 6 years, and Kabalega, he kicked the British backside very well until they could not actually believe that this man here, he can organize the army, he can attack, and he can also kill our soldiers. Now, so what they did, the British, we know that wherever they go, they will find the weakest among the group and collaborate with them. So, and this led to the capture of King Kabalega. Kabalega was not defeated by means of fighting a combat to combat. He was betrayed by the people fighting along, or the Ugandans fighting along the British.